Hello again, and welcome to the corner studio here in my garage. And today we're working on this project right here. We're going to make some of these wood billets that I use with Repousse, and I'm going to actually show you how to kind of revitalize the ones that are starting to wear a little bit. So it's a two-step process. Revitalizing these is really easy. Making another one doesn't take much longer. But I'll just walk around here and show you how some of these tools, like you can probably see this one, it's worn a little smooth and it's kind of darkened there where it's been striking the metal. And you can see the one end of it here has kind of mushroomed a little bit. And here's another one that I use a lot. And you can see likewise on the end that impacts the metal, it's kind of worn and discolored. And this end has started to kind of flare out a little. Now some of these tools, I've got another stack there, but I've got some that I hardly ever use at all. And this is one of them. You can see that it hasn't had any use, and that end has not even really been hardly struck. So that tool is just not one apparently that I gravitate to, but the ones that I do frequently use, they periodically just have to be kind of freshened up. This one used to have a point on it and it's kind of turned blunted. So what we're going to do, we'll revitalize that stack of tools and we'll make a couple of fresh ones just to show you how it's done. Now, the purpose of this tool, if you've seen my videos about Repousse, you've seen me use these tools, so it's pretty obvious. I take a copper panel that I've got a design drawn on. After I've done the edging on here, I actually just use these wood billets to drive the metal down into this kind of hollowed out tray here. So the tool is this is my basic work tool for doing Repousse, this and a wood mallet. So anyhow, we're going to show you how to make your own set today. Need to set up the camera in a couple other spots. We'll be right back. Alright, so before we get started over here on the shop side using table saws, band saws, whatever else, I want to make sure people understand this is how I work in my own shop based on my own skill and knowledge level. This is not intended to be a tutorial video on how to use power equipment, so I encourage everybody to, based on their own knowledge and skill level, to seek a level where you can safely work in your own circumstances. So that said, we'll get started. So the first thing I did when I walked up to the table saw was I raised the table saw blade up to where we had about that much above the block of wood. Just to, you can see there the saw tooth is well up above the block of wood. So now this block of wood here is much longer than my intended size for my wood billet. I usually have these things at about 9 or 10 inches, and I'm going to probably fashion these to 10 inches. The block of wood is a lot longer. It's better to have a longer piece of stock to pass through the table saw. So I won't reduce this, the length of it, until after I've made my cuts on the table saw. Then I'll go over to the miter saw and get this to the correct length. So the size of the billet that I want to reproduce is about 3/4 of an inch thick in this direction, and I've set the table saw at 7/8 of an inch. So we've got that much space between the saw blade and the fence here, 7/8 of an inch, and it's my intention to make this one a little bit more stocky for using with Repousse. And you can see that one that's 3/4 of an inch easily passes in there, so I've gotten sizing correct for cutting this piece. So we'll put our guard down here and we'll get started making the cut. All right, so we've run our first one, and it's nice and thick, a little bit more substantial than my actual pre-existing billet, you can see there. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and run another one so I'll have a spare. So apparently I forgot to press the record button when I was doing the last table saw cut, but as you can see here, I have two of the billets made now, and they're both slightly wider and slightly fatter than the original, which was my intention. And next step is we're going to take these over to the miter saw, and we're going to cut them for length to get to about 10 inches. So I've already marked this piece at about 10 inches, which is what we want the length of the finished billet to be. And there we have it. I think we're ready for the next step. So we have here one of our finished billets that we just produced on the table saw and then got the length done on the miter saw. Now I'm going to smooth the profile out here on the belt sander. If I was making, like a wedge shape or some kind of a special profile, I'd end up on the bandsaw first to get some of that material off. But since we're just smoothing this, we're going to start off right here on the sanding. I think that's just about what we've wanted. We've made a curved over place there. As this gets used and pushed into metal with the mallet, it'll finish smoothing over. We've gotten these rough corners done, and I think this tool here is ready to put into service. Now, this is the easy part, to take one that you've already been using that just needs a touch-up here on this end, and we're going to do a couple of those just to demonstrate it. But this basically puts a tool right back into use again. And that cleaned up really quick, got some of the impressions that were in there out, and this one's ready to put back in the cabinet and use again. So we got a couple of tool billets done today, and I'll probably be using these the next time I do a Repousse video if the subject's large enough. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon in another video.